It's not a secret I love cats. Cats have to be the most dominant species on the planet, clearly. And so, I am delighted to bring to you the review of Cat Quest 3.
Gather round, mateys, and listen to the tale of the most legendary.
Cat Quest 3 is a must-have for any cat-loving fan like myself. If you're into video games and you like cats, this is going to take your imagination and really just run with it. In a world that is so crazy, firstly, I have to caution everybody, there's so many puns in this game. I actually stopped counting at about 70. I'll also refrain from dropping my own puns in this, as hard as that is to ensure. Right off the hop, I'm giving this one an 8.5. This is an excellent game, and we're going to get into the details of why. But firstly, I have to say this game took about 14 hours for me to complete. There was some secondary side quest things I could do, probably would wrap it up in about 15 hours, but in my opinion, that was the butter zone. That was the perfect amount of time for this game. It knows how to get in, a bit of a tutorial, a bit of an explanation before the whole world is opened up to you and you're sailing the seas. But it also knows how to kind of drip feed you some challenge. You get introduced to a lot of different systems. You're wearing armors, you're wearing different weapons, you have a gun with you and a sword, and switching between the two can offer a lot of different kind of RPG almost mechanics, and then it knows how to wrap up. You get towards that end, you defeat these bosses, the story continues on. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it does go on for quite a bit. It does know how to end though. You get to some of these boss fights, you start cleaning up some of these islands. It's clear that there's so much to do. And then when I was just about finished that, I hit the point of no return. It tells you, hey, if you have side stuff you want to get done, you're going to have to do that now because you're not coming back. This is the end of the game. And I'm very pleased, as always, to see something like that. I'm a completionist. Along with the pacing, something I want to highlight and I mentioned is the kind of building you can do, the kind of character RPG elements you can bring into this game. There's a lot of different effects as you go through the game and defeat different enemies. You're fighting some of the Metallica and they're metalheads, but they have a lot of electrical attacks. As you defeat them, you're getting some of their equipment. You can incorporate those. Of course, there's these spicy squids. Another pirate faction that you fight, they use a lot of fire weapons. And you can see how this kind of builds together. You also have a magic attack. So you're balancing your attack, defense, your range with the pistol, and your magic stats. This sounds complicated, but it really wasn't. And it kind of added a little bit of spice. I was able to kind of recoup myself and kind of rally again, change up what I was doing. Maybe this boss is not dying to electricity. Okay, well, I'll level up a ton of my fire kind of equipment, put those on and make quick work of that boss. And I like that ability, that kind of freeing up. You're not locked into a certain build, although you can upgrade your equipment and that does become important. I found it was forgiving enough, especially being the completionist I am. I had more than enough points to kind of change up what I was doing to make it all the way through to the end without too much trouble. There is a lot of save places, a lot of checkpointing. So if you are having trouble, it is super forgiving. I was playing this on normal. There is only easy and normal. But when you're defeated, you kind of warp back to that sometimes 10 feet away from where you died, which is sometimes a little hand-holdy, but like I said, you're facing some challenges that you don't really quite know how to grapple at first, and I found that was very forgiving, very welcoming. My 14 hours or so playthrough, a lot of that was spent just exploring the islands. You are guided. In fact, there's the North Star treasure guides that are kind of popping and pointing you to the right direction, but I found I was able to just kind of let loose and go free about the map, and I didn't miss out on anything. In fact, that was sort of the majority of my fun, was just kind of clearing off islands, finding all the chests, checking out and fixing some of those stone puzzles. You have to hit the stones in the right order to kind of alleviate, or illuminate rather, some of the map, or bring a boss fight to the surface, or just open chests. There was a lot of different pirates sailing the high seas that you were able and welcome to challenge, but again, they're going to beat you up at first. You're going to have to get used to that, build yourself a water fighting build, and re-challenge them. You'll find you're much more successful. This game was all about kind of a really gradual, really comfortable learning curve. anytime I would run into something that was trouble, or that I just didn't really want to do at the time, there was tons of stuff to go around and do otherwise. So I never felt bogged down, never felt stuck. And then getting through these islands and clearing them off, I felt like I always had something to return to. This game kind of lived in the back of my mind when I wasn't playing it. I thought, there's something I have left undone, but all in all, I had a great time with this game. I cannot recommend it enough. This is Cat Quest 3, and this gets an 8.5.